Yo, wake up!
Huh? What's wrong?
You've been brainwashed. We all have.
I know I have.
Being productive is one of the silliest things society is obsessed over. It's almost like a cult. You know the feeling, constantly trying to get more done, jumping from one task to the next, but still feeling stuck on this hamster wheel. With increasing pressure from the competitiveness of college admissions and the rising cost of living, all we need to do is to be more productive, right? But imagine pumping out product after product until one day you wake up and you realize, wow, my life is almost over, and you don't even know what it was all for. I have this fear all the time, which is why I constantly calibrate with what I truly want out of life. But life has a funny way of making it hard for us to live it well. I remember days when I would be churning on my to-do list, 4 hours of meetings, 2 hours of filming, 1 hour of scripting, running errands. So many days I check the clock and boom, it's already 3 p.m. and I realize I forgot to eat lunch. I justify it by saying,
well, I guess I was just so focused that I forgot about eating.
But then I feel guilty because I realized that I wasn't taking care of myself. Aren't I working hard for me? Then why would I let it get in the way of my health? Who is the hard work really for then? Don't worry, I'm not just here to stress you out more. I do have a solution. It's time for a new goal to strive toward. I've preached this concept in many of my videos, so if you've been here a while on the A team, then try to comment what it is before I reveal it. Drumroll, please. Efficiency! Not enough people understand what efficiency truly is, so as your efficiency queen, here's how I think about it and how you can achieve it. By the very end of this video, you will feel fired up, but the real challenge, can you prove it when it counts? So, I'll test you at the end. Don't worry, it shouldn't be hard. Let's go! Well, the word productive comes from the word produce, which literally means you're focused on the output. So consider an input-output equation. Being productive says nothing about your input. So for a certain output, you could be inputting 20 hours, 10 hours, 2 hours, but you would still be the same amount of productive in all instances. That's because you produced the same amount. Efficiency, on the other hand, is about minimizing your input for the same or even better output. That's why efficiency is key. It cares about both ends of the equation. It's healthier too because better well-being leads to greater efficiency. Remember the term conversion rate that I explained in this episode of my podcast. This is how much input you are converting into valuable output. And like I explained in this episode, focusing on your conversion rate is what will get you ahead of 99% of people easily. Thus, when I say efficiency, I don't mean you're keeping yourself busy for the sake of being busy. This is a really important distinction. Just because you finished 5 things in 1 hour does not mean you are more efficient than if you did 2 things in 1 hour. And why is that? Use your critical thinking skills to consider why. The answer is, included in the output part of the equation is also the value of your output. So if we use the analogy of completing 5 things versus 2 things in 1 hour, well, 5 quarters, oops, nope, not 5 quarters, because that would not be the less. 5 dimes is worth less than $2. Okay, great, good job. You got the theory down. But remember, you can't fully understand a concept and convert it from only the definition. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. I'm here to teach you how to fish, so as you're listening to the 4 keys on how to become efficient, really absorb and think about what one key you're going to work on first. Remember the test at the end of the video. The first key to be more efficient. So, say you have a research paper to write, or you want to learn about the benefits of different tea. You go to Google, you click on many different websites, run into an ad here or there, and you synthesize the information from each source. Yes, you are doing something research that leads to a product, but at what cost? If you're drinking soup, you can use a spoon or a fork. A fork will still give you some soup, but which one is more efficient? The spoon is of course the smarter tool to use in that example. Here are some other examples of how you can use smarter tools to save you time. Since you work smarter, not harder, you use an efficient search tool like GenSpark, which is free and kindly sponsoring this part of the video. GenSpark.ai can automate your research process, saving you hours as a student or even if you're out of school. Say I want to learn about inflation. Confusing topic, I know, but pretty important to learn about in today's world. I'm just gonna type in explain inflation. After just a few moments, GenSpark's AI will give you a summarized answer. But that is just the tip of the iceberg of what GenSpark can do. It will also generate what's called a Spark page. After you click into this, you will see that it basically wrote you a comprehensive article combining multiple reputable sources. You also get a convenient outline which you can click on and jump to from the left side of the page. And for new terms in the Spark page that you might not understand, you can just click it and then GenSpark's AI Copilot will define it for you, also linking the resources that it used. Like any comprehensive research paper, Spark pages include embedded citations. GenSpark also pulls in easy-to-follow visuals to improve your understanding. You may have more complex questions, so let's challenge GenSpark. What are the policies that the US has used to control inflation, and what are the most effective? Wow, notice how GenSpark's algorithm has an advantage over other search engines because of its computational power. All of the information is in one spot, along with your Copilot buddy that you can ask questions to. You can use GenSpark to help with your book report, to prepare research before a lab, to build travel itineraries. Like, their tagline is literally save time, better results. Wait, did I make this product? Before accepting any partnership, I test out the product and make sure I fully support it. So here is my initial raw reaction of testing out GenSpark. Wait, Sean, this new Spark, search engine is actually crazy. It's like exactly what I wanted whenever I was doing research. Wow. Improve your efficiency now with GenSpark with a link in my description. How much time have you been spending watching YouTube videos about study tips or how to be productive? You've probably listened to random strangers more than your teacher by now, but yet you're still asking for more advice and hacks. After all that input, you're still struggling, so obviously you're not being the most efficient. The problem with students isn't knowing study techniques. As explained in my Stop Watching Study Tips videos, it's about execution. Have a bias toward action. The knowledge is all out there in brilliantly explained content, but advice is useless without application. Efficiency is maximizing your conversion rate, but your conversion rate is so low because you're plugging in 100 tips and outputting only 2. That means your conversion rate is 2 over 100 or 2%. Instead, if you watch one video with 3 tips and you execute consistently 2 of them, your conversion rate is now 2 over 3 or 66%. Wouldn't it be better to consistently execute 1 tip rather than watch 100 tips and execute 0? You don't want to be dumb, right? And knowledge makes you less dumb.
Knowledge.
But actually, knowing you should do something and not doing it makes you just as dumb as the person who did not know to do it. That's how I got a 4.0 in chemical engineering at Caltech while playing varsity basketball without watching any study tips videos. That is proof of this key number 2. If you just jump into studying, make mistakes, reflect, and then improve yourself by iterating, you will become a master academic weapon so much faster. Don't overplan, don't overlearn, just take action. Nike, I like the swoosh. It's a win-win because, as explained in my efficient studying video with over 2 million views, you will simultaneously be learning by doing. That's where number 1, you can discover your own customized study tips, like I was doing active recall before I even knew the phrase active recall was a thing. And number 2, when you coach yourself, you're making choices with more conviction. Both make you more effective. Key 3, okay, now that you have a bias toward action and you're doing more actions, you're all set, right? No. Remember, we're not just about being busy. You also have to think about the value of what you're doing. Imagine you have this time in front of you. Oh, you're overwhelmed.
Should I study? Should I pull out that Netflix show? Should I take a break? Should I clean my room?
When you have this opportunity in front of you and you can choose what to do with your time, you increase effectiveness by being mindful of these 2 things: your priorities and what's counterproductive. A, focus on your priorities. Tasks that truly move the needle where you will actually feel accomplished by the end of the day. Here are some examples. B, be able to pick out what's counterproductive. You might have some dead time in front of you. The goal isn't to cut out all dead time completely and to never take breaks in your study session, but it's to consider what kind of break is more valuable. Going on your phone for your break is counterproductive because it will likely suck you in and make you less motivated to continue studying. But going on a walk, stretching, petting your cute Shiba Inu, these are higher value ways of using that dead time. When was the last time you noticed that you were doing some tedious task over and over again? It's like deja vu. Maybe you found that page in a textbook once and oh, the next day, man, I have to go find that again. Man, I have to dig through my work to find that one problem again. Whenever you notice yourself doing a repetitive motion, this is where you can reduce redundancies to improve efficiency. Man, that sounded like too many buzzwords. But what I mean is, in high school, when I study my chemistry notes, I might be like,
oh, I want to learn more about covalent bonds, so I'll go into the textbook and I'll read that page about covalent bonds.
I'm like, okay, great. Now I have that deeper understanding. But 2 days later, I review covalent bonds and I'm like,
oh, I actually need that textbook page again.
And so I have to search through the whole thick book again to find that same page. The trick to avoid this wasted effort of finding the same thing over and over again is to directly write that textbook page number into my notes, making these links. That's why I explained that in my efficient note-taking video. Same thing in your homework. When I'm doing my homework and I write down a formula for math, I will write then and there include the textbook page number with the formula explanation. That way, I create these links between my textbook, notes, lecture slides, homework, quizzes, tests. The philosophy is that I want to be one and done. I find something one time and I don't want to have to look for it again. That way, when you're studying for your exam, it's so much easier to review everything because then when you look at that problem in your quiz that you missed, you already see the page in the textbook that refers to. One and done is also my standardized test-taking philosophy. Why suffer through 2 to 3 ACTs when you can just take the ACT once? Give your all the first time and that is much more efficient. Let's take a shot of water every time I say efficient in this video. Time for the test. So you got through the 4 tips, but was your time used efficiently? Were you absorbing actively at the same time thinking of the one tip you're going to start focusing on? If yes, then comment 1, what you learned from this video in your own words, and 2, how you're going to apply that one tip you picked. If you can't write enough, teaching it to someone like the Feynman technique, that's a sign that you might need to improve your ability to focus to get more value out of watching a YouTube video. You might have been productive by watching a video about efficiency today, but were you efficient at learning about efficiency? Please keep in mind that I might still use the word productive in my videos, in my titles. Don't dox me for it and say Amy is being contradictory. It's just a word that more people agree with and is commonly known. What I really mean is I want you to be efficient. Great job, pat yourself on the back. You have risen above average by getting through this video, by being extraordinary, to do a little extra. You can level up from the people who are still trying to chase productivity because your mantra is efficiency is greater than productivity. Remember to search efficiently with genspark.ai with the link in my description, and let's climb efficiently to the top. I'll see you there. Okay, ready?
Yep. I know I have. What do you need me for?
Yes, kids, listen to Amy.
Done.
Done. End. I'm going to see Avatar. I'm going to see Avatar: The Last Airbender in concert today, and I'm so excited! Rate my Air Nomad outfit. Ooh. Please don't make me sad. I tried very hard to look like Aang. I do not have the arrow, of course. Thanks.